Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Media Buff Guys, the podcast about anything and everything media related. I'm your host, Ed, and with me are probably the only two white people I know, Lane and Matt. Say hello, fella and girl.
Wow.
We're going to get cast over that
Hello,
one.
I guess.
I don't know what I'm more offended by. That you said fellas as in saying I'm fat enough to be two people, or I'm the only other white person you know.
Well, you kind of are. I mean, I'm sure I know others, but I'm saying like you two are probably the only ones I know well, like that I would even call friend. Yeah. Anyway, Lane, you already said hey, right?
I did say hey.
And I say, hey, yeah, I say, hey,
I did. Hey, hey. I
what's
did say
going
hey.
on? Now, before we get started with the episode, a quick word from our affiliate, Maono. Maono, Matt, not Mano, okay?
Don't correct me, bitch.
Maono is one of the leading
Wow.
companies in budget-friendly mics and audio interfaces. They sell in over 150 countries, and they have a variety of items tailored to fit one budget without breaking the bank. If you're listening to this episode, you can use code MediaBuff to get 10% off the first purchase. I'll also leave an affiliate link on my YouTube channel, or you can just, go on their website and use the code. Either way, they have some decent items. We're using their mics right now. Lane's on Zoom. Matt and
Yep.
I are at his place. Just chilling.
But I've used them.
Yeah,
Mostly.
she's used it. Yeah.
I've used them too. They are
We're getting
nice.
better at the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the Zoom meetings are more just of a form of convenience when we can't meet up.
true. Yeah, no Omar tonight. He's hurt.
He has a boo boo.
Yeah.
He's got owies.
Oh yeah. Now
Owie,
for
owies.
now for today's episode, we're going to be talking about franchises, specifically ones that were probably some of the highest in their time and now are just sitting at the bottom of a well waiting to be rescued. But probably never will.
Is it like, aren't we focusing on the video games?
Specifically
Or,
with video games,
yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
because we can get
Video
into
games.
a lot of
We
stuff.
can get, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a big box. There's a lot big box to unload right there. But yeah, more
Yeah.
specifically, video games with pretty lengthy franchises that were great when they first started and now have pretty much plateaued. Not even plateaued. Yeah, I could guess you could say plateaued and are just not as good as they used to be. Former shells of former selves.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, Matt, do you want to go first, or what about you, Lane? Are we still
But
just doing the one each, or you guys want to go in like into a
I
random?
say we do like one each, and if there's others that we can think of, just kind of mention them.
I got like five off the top of my head just now.
So
But who wants to go first? You want me to go first? I'll go first.
yeah, you go first.
All
You know
right.
what?
Well, for the franchise, I want to go first, and I think it is on everybody's mind, especially recently. And that's the furry gotta catch 'em all simulator Pokemon. Now,
catch them all.
I mean, it is. That's what it is.
Is it really
They're
a
not
furry
all
simulator?
furry.
They're furry. Some of them
They're
are.
not.
Some of
Some
them
of
are
them have
scaly.
scales.
Uh huh. But either way, the Pokemon franchise, which has been now around since the 90s, like 95, I think.
The original dogfight.
Oh my God. In any case, that franchise has spanning over like 17 games, the card game on itself, mobile games, movies, TV shows, but
One of the biggest animes of all time.
yeah, that's true. But
Still
is
going.
but now honestly it's just turned into in my opinion a seamless cash grab simply because it literally is just a rinse and repeat. You can even call it like a copy and paste of itself.
Tell me, okay, since like what, 2010?
The last good one I think was Sword and Shield, in my opinion.
No, but like what I'm getting at is the mechanics of the game.
They're all the same. They haven't changed. I think the only thing that they've added is like and better animations, better moves, mega evolutions, Gigantamax, the new one terrestrializing. I don't even know what the hell that is. Either way, it's gotten to the point where the bubble has burst for Pokemon, and you can blame. I wouldn't even blame, but you can thank one game for it, and that's Power World. Power World pretty much opened everyone's eyes and said, like, "Oh my god, Nintendo or Pokemon Company has been giving us crap this whole time, knowing that they could have given us something like Power World." And I think a lot of people have come to the realization and had the rose-colored glasses taken off, and they're like, "You guys have held out on us. Like, you guys basically have just been taking our money and giving us the same stuff over and over again."
If you couldn't see that for yourself beforehand, that's on you. I'm
Hey
sorry.
man, when you love something, you kind of see past the flaw.
That's a huge glaring flaw.
I wouldn't call it a huge glaring flaw because there's lots of games out there that share the same flaw and are still pretty popular even now. But as far as Pokemon goes, it's gotten to the point where the fans are kind of clamoring to Nintendo like this next game better be good. And they just recently announced another one called Pokemon crap. It takes into in the universe, not the universe region. Basically, it takes in the same area as the sword, no, not Sword and Shield, X and Y, and it centers only around the central city of the game. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it or what's it even going to be about. But people are kind of like one foot in, one foot out at this point. They're not excited, but at the same time, they still want to see what they'll do and what new mechanics. If you can call them new mechanics, they'll add. Either way, Pokemon is just not what it used to be. It's still a popular franchise, and I don't think it'll ever die simply because, despite the fact that it's the same game over and over again, people prefer just to play it because one, it's still a fun game to play. Two, you can make a lot of money, especially if you play in tournaments. And three, it kind of it's not one of those games that you really have to invest too much effort into it. Like I think one of the reasons it's still so popular is because you can pick it up even if you've never played a Pokemon game. You can kind of figure it out.
Okay, that's true, but I think like a huge difference though between old Pokemon games and new ones is that the new ones are way too easy.
Uh yeah, I you can make that argument, but at the same time, when you played Pokemon for this time, you were 8 or 10 at the oldest. You're an adult now, so things probably aren't as hard to you as they were back then because the formula is still the same.
Yeah,
Now, if you want to talk about difficulty, yeah, a lot of people have asked for that, and they're the adults that have asked for that.
yeah, but this is what I'm getting at is that like in what Pokemon Sword and Shield, there's no pushback until like the last quarter of the game.
Dude, no, Sword and Shield, I swept that game. Like, and I had a party of randos that I gave no thought into them. They just had a good move pool, and I swept it. It was disappointing.
And
But as far as difficulty goes, there are ways you can make the difficulty. For instance, people do this thing called a Nuzlocke. I'm not gonna get into it, but they themselves submit to rules that will make the game a little more difficult if you stick to it. And I have seen people fail at Nuzlocks. I myself have failed at them. I've only ever completed one, and it was with Fire Red. But I mean, Fire Red is one of the easier ones. I've seen people do double Nuzlocks where them, and another person will play the game together, do with those same rules, and it's just one of those things that even though the game aren't as hard as it used to be, you can still make it difficult for yourself if you commit to it. But I mean, yeah, you could always do something to crank up the difficulty. Either way, the game franchise, it's still $1 billion franchise because it still sells pretty well. It just doesn't sell as well as it used to be. I think the last game, Sword and Shield, sold about 20 million copies, and then Scarlet and Violet sold about 16, I think. As of the last time I checked was about 2 3 years ago. It's obviously sold more now, but it definitely hasn't sold as many as it used to be. Like
Mhm.
X and Y, I think that one's like 50 million copies sold, which is still pretty solid. And you can't forget about Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That those games sold like 80 million copies, and they're
Those are
still
like
selling.
the
Lane,
top
like
the top
you have,
selling.
yeah, the top selling
Those are
Pokemon game.
still like the most asked for.
I seen some listed
It's
on Luna for like $100,
oh no, they get crazy.
like $300 almost.
Especially if you have like
The
the
Pokemon
box
Walker.
and like the Pokewalker and all that stuff, they
Yeah.
can get $300
No, yeah,
for
they're ridiculous. I'm like,
yeah, but the thing about Heart Gold and Soul Silver though is because there was like a limited release amount of them.
well,
Like
not
they
just that.
weren't available as much. So it makes them
Hmm.
not as common as all the other DS ones.
Yeah.
And it is honestly one of the better remakes of one of the older generations one
Yes,
and two
Crystal and
Pokemon.
Gold. It was
Yeah,
from Crystal Gold, but
yeah.
not just no Silver and Gold. Sorry,
Silver, Gold. I mean,
not
Crystal
just
was
the
part of
fact
it
that
too.
it's a good remake. This is one of the few times you get to play two regions in one game, which up until then had
Yeah.
never been done. You
I
beat
think
the
didn't they do I thought you could do it in Fire Red and Leaf Green.
no. You can go to there's different islands you can go to and just do that, but you can't do the Kanto
The whole
region
of the region. Oh, okay.
because it
Yeah.
was a Johto and Kanto region that you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, I mean, the game franchise just isn't what it used to be, but it's still popular.
Hmm.
But I myself, I haven't played any newer ones. I didn't play Scarlet and Violet, and I didn't even finish the reboots of Diamond and Pearl, even though those are two of my favorite ones. Like I 100%ed that one. I don't even know the Pokedex by heart anymore. Like I could recite up to 600, but that's it. That's my limit now.
Yeah.
It's just one of them things.
Yeah. I just think it kind of lost a lot of interest for people when a couple things when they started making Pokemon after weird objects.
Like a trash bag,
Just anything, just
a
inanimate
keychain,
objects. They started making Pokemon out of like
ice
inanimate
cream.
objects, like ice cream. Yeah, that's when that for me that's when Pokemon started dropping off. I was just like, oh, okay, yo, this is. Are we just running out of? Are there just not enough animal? Like, are we just running out of like? Why? I don't
But
know.
that's the
That's when
thing that like
kind
there's
of
plenty of
weird.
animals they can make Pokemon out of.
Or
Like
just your own damn imagination too. Just
that's true.
be creative and make something. Um, so that's when it got kind of weird to me. And then when they started making it to where all of your Pokemon in your whole party just got equal XP share, which made leveling
Mm-hmm.
up like
Very.
way faster. And I noticed with a lot of these newer games that it doesn't matter like if you like do the bare minimum in terms of like not even fighting random trainers on your way to the next gym, you still go in and you just whoop everybody because you're so
Yeah.
much like more powerful because all of your Pokemon are like the same level or you're
Or like
even
10,
higher
15 levels above the
because they're
train
getting XP. They just
the
give you XP like so much now in these newer games
yeah,
versus like the first generations where it was like
you had to grind.
you had to grind the shit out of your Pokemon, and then you're always constantly having to swap out who is the first Pokemon you threw out,
Mm-hmm.
or you do the whole like throw this Pokemon out and then trade it, so then it shares XP that way. There was like
Exactly.
stupid
Yeah.
tricks we had to do to like get XP shared for more than one Pokemon, and now it's just automatic and it's a lot, so it makes it like you don't
Not that
really even
challenging.
have
Yeah.
to try. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no challenge to it. And I get it, it
That's what
makes
Matt
it
was saying.
easier for children,
Mm-hmm.
and I see the appeal in that.
No,
But
I
like,
think it's part of that. Also, going back to my point of adults now playing the game, we ain't got the time to grind like we used to. So I
mhm,
think that's part of the reason they implemented that. The
that's
last
true.
time I dedicated, and I mean I dedicate a solid amount of time to any Pokemon game, was for Diamond and Pearl, and I think I logged about 600 hours in that. I can't do that again. I just can't. I don't have the energy or the patience to do that again. So
No.
I'm not against that, and I like the fact that you can turn it off. That's one a feature that they made it so you can turn it off.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it is. A lot of people have made that one of their main complaints. They're like, "Oh, it's too easy now." Like it's like it ain't
Yeah.
Dark Souls, fool. It ain't Dark
Mhm.
Souls.
Well,
It
there's
was when we were children.
I know, right?
Just like fucking hard
We had to
shit.
earn those badges.
oh, but also
Yeah, we
looking at it
really did.
straight from like a turn-based RPG perspective, like there's other turn-based RPGs where nowadays still where you need to be careful of what you're doing, time management,
Hmm.
all that stuff. And it's not super difficult like Dark Souls is,
Yeah, but
but
there's a learning curve.
there's a learning curve
Yeah.
and like any other traditional turn-based RPG, if you're not set up for it, you're gonna you're gonna lose.
Well, dude, in like the first generation games for sure, you just ran out of trainers. Like you can like I went through those games and I fought every trainer I encountered, and you still aren't a high enough level to make it all the way through the Elite Four your first try. You still have to fucking grind Onyx and fucking Graveler in that damn cave right before the Elite Four, because that's the highest Pokemon that you can get
Uh-huh.
at the time is in that cave, because you can't get access to the cave that Mewtwo's in with the other high level Pokemon
Until
because
after you beat
it's
the Elite
blocked
Four.
off. Yeah, so I just remember just fucking just having to grind in that cave for like so many fucking levels,
Yeah.
because you could probably get through the first guy, pretty first chick, because she was ice. You could probably get through the first couple people, but by the time you got to the dragon dude, fucking
Yeah, Lance,
whooped.
he was an
He
asshole.
whooped, and
Unless
then after that it was Gary, and he fucking also whooped. So it was like, shit,
Mhm.
if you really weren't ready, uh, there's no fucking way you're gonna get through the Elite Four.
Yeah. No, to this day, I still remember Misty and her freaking Staryu, or is it Starmie? Starmie
Shit's
with
wolf.
I forgot what the name of the attack was. I think it was Water Pulse. But basically, not only was it murder towards your Charmander if you had a Charmander, it also confused them almost every time. Like
Yeah,
almost every time they would get confused from that attack. It was so annoying.
I always started with Charmander
Their
too.
RNG was the worst. The RNG against you was the worst in the earlier games. Like if you had something like pin needle or double slap on your Pokemon, you're not gonna get more than 2 hits. But if they had pin needle or double slap, 15 easy every
Yeah,
time, all criticals.
yeah. You
And
had to get a
then you
Butterfree.
go to Johto League and you have that one girl with Milk Tank and the damn rollout
Fuck
and
that bitch.
Milk Drink, which basically made it an impossible tank to take out.
Yeah, that was annoying.
And then and the worst one was freaking Chansey with Minimize. Ah, hey, Lay, you got a kitty back there.
Yeah,
It's a Meowsy. All
yeah.
right, who wants to go next?
Monster.
Who wants to go
Um,
next? Matt,
I
you
think
wanted to
Matt, do you want
complain
to
about
go?
Metal Gear, wasn't that right?
Do you want to complain about Metal Gear? Do you want to complain about Halo, Mass Effect,
Oh, don't even get
Assassin's
me started on
Creed?
Halo.
Oh
I don't want to talk about it.
no, I was gonna talk about Assassin's Creed, not
Oh
Metal
yeah,
Gear.
that's a hard one to swallow right there.
Chime in
Well,
with that one too.
Such a good franchise.
it started off really good.
It started great, dude. That was probably one of the best games in the third gen era. Was it third gen or fourth gen? Third gen, right?
Third,
Because it was 360 in the PS4, right?
no,
I mean PS3,
PS3.
Yeah,
PS3 and 360. That game was phenomenal, dude.
Well,
I guess. Well, technically, it's only Xbox's second because they just had Xbox, and
That's true,
360 is
yeah.
their second. So it would be their second, and then PS3's third.
Yeah, it wasn't on Nintendo.
no, but it's okay. Well, even like the first Assassin's Creed was like meh.
No, dude, it was great. The ending was meh, but the game was great.
2 was so much better.
Yes, two
Ezio.
was fantastic. Ezio is the man
Yeah.
to this day.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the Ezio story was the best. You got 2, Brotherhood and Revelation.
Yeah,
Those are all of his games. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the trilogy.
yeah.
And then you went on with 3. See,
I like 3. A lot of people didn't like 3. I liked it.
my like Black Flag was all right, but
2.
for me, the story ends in 3 because
Mhm.
like Desmond sacrifices himself.
Yeah, I
Like the
remember.
main character is now dead.
Hmm.
And then they came out with Black Flag, and then the next year they came out with another one, Rogue, I believe.
Yeah,
And then then that's when people are like, "Oh, it's gonna be like that now."
and then you get Unity.
Mm. Unity
Unity.
was um it was a buggy mess.
It was dead on arrival. Like you could tell.
Yeah, I mean, there's a story there that's kind of interesting,
There was
but
a story.
yeah, there's a story. But that's what I'm getting at. Like, um, the original Assassin's Creed games had a really good story that was thought out really well, and they took their time making the games and developing the games. And then, um, after 3, that's when they started pumping them out yearly. They neglected other franchises that they have done, like Splinter Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's how they were giving us, well, that and all the different Far Cries.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's a Ubisoft property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, yes, Far Cry.
Yeah, but even Far Cry went downhill.
I never got into that franchise, but I heard
We'll
it was
talk
good.
about that some other time. But
I just like the 5th one.
um, and then like as they were going out yearly, like this quality of story was going down too.
Mhm.
Like they got me good though with Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I was like, oh, cool, Vikings.
But that was a good way to revitalize the
No, it
franchise.
wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't.
Actually, what was the
I
Egyptian
couldn't.
one?
Origins.
Origin.
Valhalla's like the newest one. No, Mirages.
Mirage.
Valhalla came out before Mirage. Okay, but only
Yeah.
got Valhalla because it was on the PSN store
Mhm.
for like a deal. You get like 70% off. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I'll play it for $15. I'm not gonna pay full price for that shit.
So then, because I heard Origins did well.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Origins. We're talking about Valhalla.
That was like really roller coaster.
God damn it, Ed. No, Valhalla, like
Don't you
it
want to talk
promises you with
about
Vikings, but there's
Odyssey?
not
We
enough.
want to bring Odyssey into it.
Yeah,
Let's just
Odyssey is just a ripoff. I mean, no, Valhalla is a ripoff of Odyssey because the same combat mechanics and stops being less stealth and more action orientated.
Yeah.
That all started in
That started in 3.
no,
It wasn't that stealthy in 3.
yes, it was.
Mm,
You could rope dart people from the trees.
yeah, but you can also shoot them. Once you get the flintlock pistol, that's kind of all you need.
No, Tomahawk. You're just a
Tomahawk.
psychopath that likes to run around and shoot people.
Makes things easy. One hit kill.
Lazy ass. Anyways, I forgot my train of thought because of you.
Valhalla was great.
Right? No, it was terrible. I could not wait. After like a certain point, I'm like, all right, I'm already in it this far, so I'm gonna just finish it up. But I could not wait until I got to that ending just to get it
Oh,
done
you
and
made
over
it
with.
to the ending?
Yeah,
Oh
it was like an
no.
80-hour game and was unnecessarily
Yeah.
like it was unnecessary. They could have made it like a 40 to 60-hour game and it would have been fine. But you can extend the gameplay with where you play as Odin, but it's just the character that you play as and you fight in Asgard. And that's like another additional 20 hours. It has its own separate
Was
story.
that DLC?
Yeah, it was the
Mm.
DLC.
So they kind of Try to turn into God of War.
I guess.
They were like,
And
look, everyone liked God of War so much, we gotta get in on this.
pretty
And they
much,
made Valhalla.
yeah, Vikings and Asgardians and all
They
that
just
shit, right?
took, yeah, Odyssey's what mechanics and then slapped Viking shit on it.
But like, but even like Syndicate was a step up from Unity,
That's
which
true. Yeah.
there's like because I played Syndicate for a little bit, and I like the aspect of like you play as two different people,
Hmm.
your brother and sister. The sister is more stealthy,
Hmm.
and the brother is more combat orientated. So depending on who you use, that was the gameplay you went with. And like during certain missions, like it'll be either more advantage, have more advantage being stealthy or being more combat orientated.
Yeah.
But the story started to suck after a while too. Like they had a cool concept with like the gameplay mechanics, but that was it. So I don't know what to do with them. Ubisoft just needs to go back to like do either A, doing other stuff or coming up with new original material.
I mean, they are coming out with a new one. I don't know what it's called. Shadows. Is it called Shadows?
What I mean is stop making Assassin's Creed and make other shit.
Try making a new game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they could always
Can't
go back
just
to Splinter Cell.
live off of Assassin's Creed and Far Cry forever. People are gonna want something different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Eventually, Ubisoft.
I mean, it's still a. It's not. It's not as bad as other franchises, but it's still pretty good. I will say that. Yeah, it is basically just the same game over and over again as well.
Assassin's Creed is Ubisoft's version of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It
All right.
is. I say that
Pretty
all the
much.
time. Say that to people at work all the time.
Yeah. Honestly, if I worked for Ubisoft, I think I'd be like at the same time working for Call of Duty because I'd probably be doing the same job.
What does this gun animation do?
Hey guys, what if we put attachments in Assassin's Creed? Instead of just having the hand blade, maybe we can add a poison injector in there. 2.99 for the DLC. Microtransaction.
Uh,
Good times. Ubisoft, don't sue us.
they're gonna come first.
No, sue us so that way we can get our name in the paper.
Any press is good press, I guess.
I guess.
What about you, Lane? What's one franchise you feel is like a former self of its shell or shell of itself?
Um. Uh. Well, I think the one that it hurt me the most was recently was Kingdom Hearts. Uh, I was like a diehard. I loved the first game. I thought it was the best, the best shit that had at the time. I thought it was like the best thing that had been out, and I had
Oh
been
yeah,
playing a lot of RPGs at the time, and to have something that was Disney and Final Fantasy mixed
I think that
together
was
in
the
a
selling
game,
point.
I think that was, well, it sold me for sure. And then just even just how the gameplay went was really fun. Um, and then the second one was good too. I like that they expanded on it. I know like some people didn't really like the second one. Um, I liked it. I still think the first one was better, but then they just kind of really just went off the rails with it and just started creating side games. Um, and then you just notice like the more and more come out, the less like Final Fantasy
The
anything
characters
was
started popping
involved.
up.
They just not, but they just kind of faded out. Like it was like less and less about like those characters and just more about focusing, not to say that it wasn't focusing on just Sora, but it's like they really just kind of took that whole idea and then just ran with it. Everyone got a backstory for their
Thanks, Disney.
backstory.
Well, that's technically
Yeah,
Square Enix at the
Queenix.
behalf of Disney.
Yeah.
Disney pushed Square Enix out of the picture. They're like, no, fuck you and your cloud. It's all about Donald.
All about Donald now. Yeah. Um, and then the third one was just hot, hot garbage.
So
I
I've heard.
played it. I hated it. It like there was nothing. There were no Final Fantasy characters in the third one, like whatsoever. Um, that I can recall. I try to block that game out of my mind. Um, but no, there wasn't any. And then instead of just um going into a movie world and then dealing with the bad guy from that, but it's kind of being its own weird little heartless thing going on. This
Mhm.
one was just like they literally the whole world was the whole movie. It's really weird to explain. So I've never seen the Frozen. I know the whole Frozen movie after playing Kingdom Hearts 3. I know the whole movie. I know everything that happened. And I literally someone that saw it and I told them I was like, "Well, I've never seen it, but this is what happens." And I'm like, this and this." And they're like, "Yeah, no, that's really what happens." And they're like, "How do you know that
That's
without seeing
exactly
it?" I
right.
was like, yeah, I was like fucking Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3, like that, like they have it's the whole movie. It's what you play through, like the whole thing. It's really random. Same with the whole Rapunzel, the Rapunzel. It's just like it just tells you the movie. Um, so I thought that was just very like unoriginal in terms of like a video game, and um, not to mention we don't need a game that has 9.5 hours of cutscenes.
That's true.
That's
Excuse me.
so
We do. Metal Gear Solid
so
4 had 8.
No, I mean, but then Kingdom Hearts was like, hold my beer, and then
You're gonna have like 4 hours of
hold my
gameplay and 12
non-alcoholic
hours of cinema scenes.
daiquiri. Yeah. And then they give us 9.5, almost 10 hours of cutscenes. And it was just like I remember getting through this game and finally get to the last world and I said, "Oh, thank God, I'm at the end." And
Then there's like a 5.5 hour cutscene at the end.
no, yeah, no, it really was.
No, I know.
It really did take about 5 fucking hours to get through just that last world because of how many cutscenes and like everything. And it's like, you can skip them, sure, but like, you're not gonna understand what's going on. Like, the whole point of Kingdom Hearts is the fucking cutscenes. At this point, like, I'm very much convinced it's like that's what it's like. The gameplay, no one cares.
It's one of those
It's
interactive movies, like the DVDs that
you,
back in the days.
yeah, yeah, it's
Cutscene
really
simulator.
terrible. Um, and then I feel like they really did try to explain like the side games and like those characters like in a weird like quick version in Kingdom Hearts 3, but it didn't help if you didn't because I didn't play Birth by Sleep from PSP. I didn't play Dream Drop Distance. I didn't play 300 and however many days out of however many days. I didn't play any of those because at that point I was just over like I was just kind of over the franchise um at that point. So they did try to explain it, but the whole time I was like, even if I did play these games, it's just way too much information. There's way too many characters. There's like the past characters and then like the heartless characters and then it's just so weird. And then there are always like three of them. They come in threes. So weird. I just hate it. I hate it. And now this new one apparently is gonna be more Final Fantasy. Like they just traded it off. So now it's gonna be more Final Fantasy vibe.
More
Did you see the
Final
trailer for
Fantasy
it?
with
Did you see the trailer for it
15
or the
hours of
teaser for
cutscenes.
it? You see the teaser for it?
Yeah. All I know
Yeah.
is that they had to make 3 games to explain the story, the .5 games. I remember that. They specifically made them so you understood the story better when you played 3 or the newest one.
Doesn't make
It's
any
like,
sense.
we got
Yeah.
like 2.5,
Eh,
3.5, and 5 and 6/8.
2.8,
Now
1
you'll
point, 1
understand the
point,
story.
1.5, 2.5,
Now you'll know why
2.8,
how now
and then
you'll
the
know.
story so far.
And yeah,
That's it.
exactly. Now now you'll know how the Heartless were involved in the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, it's just so like
I know. And then
it's
like,
wild.
isn't
It's a
there,
wild
which
story.
game was it that it turns out the Sora wasn't even Sora? The Sora you were playing? Wasn't there
The
one of
second
those?
one, the third one, the
The third
second
one?
one,
Like,
all of them,
you're
all of
not
them.
even
You never saw.
Sora. You're a
You're not even.
clone of Sora.
You haven't been sore since the first fucking game. You know what I mean? Like I
Apparently, yeah, I know.
feel like it's really the two T. Because in the second one, you played as Roxas for half the time, and then Roxas is like his heartless,
Like a shadow or something like that.
like, yeah, like you take the heartless and it makes like shell or something, and then that was Roxas. I don't even. It's just it's so complicated at this point. I don't even remember half of the storyline.
You need like a physics degree to understand the movie,
It's
the game.
really stupid. I hate it. I hate
But
it
the
so
combat was
much.
good, right?
Yeah, the combat, but Donald was
all,
fucking great.
all 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, you got that one Final Fantasy character.
Oh man. It's just
No, I just hate it. I hate it now. And I was like, I just, the worst part about it was I was an idiot. I bought like the digital version of Kingdom Hearts 3 because I was so excited and I didn't want to go to a store to get it. I wanted to get it like that night it came out because I was so stoked. And I was just like, this was the worst life decision ever made buying this fucking game digital.
regrets.
I would have sold it so fucking fast, but now I'm just stuck with it. A
Here,
digital
GameStop, give
download
me my
forever.
$2.
Yeah, GameStop, give me. I'd have taken $2. I'd have taken $1 for it. I can't get shit for it now. I just have a digital copy
Uh-huh.
sitting there.
Yeah.
Forever they're taunting you.
Yeah,
Finish the game, Lane. It's only 5 cinema scenes left.
I did finish it. I did. I regretfully finished it. It took me forever.
Yeah.
That for sure. When I got to the end, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be done with this so soon." And it literally was just. It took me like 3 days to get through it. It wasn't like I like sat like and played like all day. I played like a few hours, so like at least 6 hours,
Took a
six
lot
seven
out of you,
hours.
yeah.
Just the last final world.
Yeah, there's just some games you have to finish out of principle.
Yes,
Like,
No, there's
and then you
really?
never touch them ever again.
Exactly. On the shelf you go forever.
No touchy.
Ah, it's just things, it just goes to show you things change. Just not always for the better.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed.
Hmm.
But those are like a few. I mean, I
No,
looked up a
there's
lit. I looked up a few lists of some of like game franchises that have gone downhill, and there was just like like the handful of ones that just made it on every list.
I think Mojo did a top 10 of that.
Yeah.
And that's not even the surface of it.
I don't
No.
watch Mojo. They suck, man.
Eh, yeah, they have a hit here and
Yeah.
there. But
Every once in a while
yeah,
they drop something.
it just goes to show you that even if it's something you care about or you grew up with, it's not going to stay the same.
Well, it's not exactly that. It's just that these companies they pump out the same thing yearly.
Mhm.
They like Naughty Dog is kind of starting to do the same shit with fucking Last of Us.
You mean just selling the same 2 games over and over
Mhm.
again?
Like it's great. It's like it's great and it's wonderful that you made
You
something that a
can't
lot
you
of
can't
people
say
like.
that Bethesda's been doing that with Skyrim for fucking how many console
Right?
generations now?
Skyrim, Fallout.
Naughty Dog, Last of Us. Like Skyrim is on every platform 50 times. Like
Yeah.
They're included in this. Don't worry about it.
You can't forget the biggest transgressor of them all and every freaking Mario side scroller out there.
Oh my God.
It's like, hey guys, you remember that Mario game y'all loved? Well, here it is again. Full price.
yeah, yeah, and then we just keep buying them.
We do.
But at least the
And
thing
this way
about
you can turn into an
Nintendo,
elephant.
I feel like Nintendo can get away with it because they cater to
Well,
like
kids.
all age groups
Yeah.
and children, whereas
Mm-hmm.
like these other games just kind of cater to certain age
Mm-hmm.
groups and then you just get bored. But like, you know, there's always going to be a new generation of children.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
But
You could just give them those games over and over and over, and they're gonna get excited about it because
Not
it's their
just
first
that, they
time
love
playing.
playing with the nostalgia. Our nostalgia feels.
well, also it is a good thing to have things out there that are easy to digest.
Oh yeah.
Not everything needs to be like Persona. If you ever played the
True.
Persona games,
Can never get into that
Uh,
franchise.
it's a good
Eh,
franchise, but
So I've been told multiple times.
you just have to sit there,
I can't.
get through the
I just
beginning
can't.
of it, let the
Yeah.
story to start to take off. But it's one of those things where I tell people, like me explaining it to you is going to be very confusing. You need to experience it in order to comprehend it. But not everybody wants to do that. Like easy digestion, it's there for a reason. But that doesn't go with along with you can't make something where it's easy to digest and still have it be good.
Well, to go back to Nintendo, they kind of cornered that market. Like their games are not difficult. You can beat it in a day or two.
Metroid Dread.
No, I'm talking about the Mario games. I'm not talking about Metroid. But those games still outsell like AAA titles, even though they've been out for decades.
Yeah, but like you get like
but those
fun
Metroid Dread games
mechanics.
It's the
Like
same
were like a different
mechanics.
Yeah.
You
Well,
run
the
and
Mario's done by
Mario
then.
Sunshine, you can
It
squirt
does,
the
yeah.
enemies in the face.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the only ones. But other than that, they're all still pretty the same. Even like Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy, they're fairly similar.
No, Mario 64 is a 3D platform now.
So it's Mario Galaxy.
I was talking about you
I
said
mean,
side
Luigi's
scrolling.
Mansion is
No, but they're
essentially
side
from the same
scrollers. They're
game
easy to
too.
play
So
and like they still sell by the thousands. And for whatever reason, they never go on sale. Like, you want this 30-year-old game? You gotta pay $50. Hey
yeah,
guys, we're gonna re-release a game that we had over 40 years ago. Full
But they also put a
price.
new mechanic in it.
We'll add a new mechanic to it. Now you can turn. You can go right this time. There are some companies that can get away with that. Like not even companies, but there are some games that you can push out a bunch and people will still buy them. Case in point, Call of Duty.
Case
Like
in point, Madden.
uh, pretty much any sports game. Madden, the soccer games, MLB, even the NHL games are really popular. Like they do really well. But
But
I feel like that's also because people don't care about what's in the game. They just want to replay certain stuff.
also, I think sports games are a little bit different dynamics than like
Yeah,
what we're
yeah.
talking about because
Mhm.
those are more for getting together with your friends and
Actually, no, man.
competition.
Like, okay, the competition. The competition side of those games is pretty impressive because you have some guys who have made a literal, and I mean a literal professional career playing those games. And their accounts are worth thousands. Like their actual accounts. Like they have accounts that if they were to sell it, they can get a couple $100,000 for it. I'm not even joking. You can go online and look for yourself. There was one guy in particular who his girlfriend deleted the account, which was worth $1 million. It was rated at $1 million at basketball at an NBA game, NBA 2K.
Oh,
the worst part is that she put it on social media, so it was just one of those viral videos at the time, and it was a sports game. This goes to show you, sports games have now become pretty lucrative. Like you could become a professional athlete in the sports in the video game sporting world. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Esports is wild.
hell yeah. But as far as franchises go that just like pump out the same stuff over and over again, I mean, I think the only reason they're still alive or they still do that is because I guess some people just don't care. They just keep buying it. I mean, I know I will. I'm gonna buy the next Pokemon game eventually if they add something I like.
No, see what these companies do is they put in like
Just one thing that you'll
there's
like.
one thing they know, like the way they got me with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They're like Vikings.
Vikings.
People like Vikings, right?
You're like you were going like, not you, not you, not you, not you. And then Lane over here, they're gonna introduce a new Disney character in there,
Uh,
like
no.
Moana, maybe.
No, I don't think the next Kingdom Hearts game is gonna be very Disney heavy. I think it's gonna be more gonna have more of a Final Fantasy feel.
Hmm.
I mean, it's gonna have at least. I mean, I'm trying to imagine like Donald, Goofy, Mickey in like not an animated kind of drawing, but more in the style of like how they draw the Final Fantasy games.
You can see Donald with a Buster Sword.
Yeah, something. Yeah,
Goofy's gonna have a
yeah.
style
It's
change with
it's
different
gonna be
outfits.
weird. I don't know. It's gonna be weird. I mean, am I gonna buy the game? I don't know. Probably not.
Not day
Honestly,
one
with
for
the
sure.
total. Yeah, no,
Where it
not
goes
day
on
one.
sell.
Yeah,
Yeah, when it goes on super sale. I'll
yeah.
know how good it is by how quick it comes back or how fast it drops
That's
in
yeah.
price.
One thing I always say, a game is not that good if it gets on the PS Plus store right away. Like if it gets on the PS Plus store, like not even a year after it's been out, it wasn't that good.
Yep, that Avatar game.
Yep.
Example, Ubisoft trying to make a different game. They were like, we made
I
something
know.
different, guys. It's not Assassin's Creed. Here you go. And you're like, no, this is shit. This is just shit. It's so boring. The game is so boring. They spent all their time on like the look of that Avatar game and then like the gameplay and the story and everything. It's just like it was very second thought, I feel
I
like
believe that. Well, they figured they could just ride the coattails of the movie franchise,
they
which in
really
my
did.
opinion wasn't even that great. Like I didn't even care for
No,
them.
I don't
It's
understand
Last of the
people's
Mohicans with blue
obsession.
people,
Yeah, I don't
or
understand people's
Dances with
obsession
Wolves with blue people.
obsession with it. I don't
Yeah, I
get it.
didn't get it either.
Because of blue alien weefoos.
Those aren't even weepoos. I don't know what they are. They're Blue Panthers. They have the body of Pink Panther.
Okay, it's people's indulgence in furryism.
They're not
That's a
even
word.
furry either. I don't even know what they are. They're probably reptiles.
They're
Either
probably
way, I mean, either way, when it comes to franchises, we may talk smack and we might complain, but I think we would be devastated if it went away. I think we can
I
all agree
wouldn't
on that.
be.
You wouldn't be devastated if Assassin's Creed went away permanently. Like if
Nope.
they said we're not making any more Assassin's Creed,
Yep.
then you don't really care about that franchise.
Nope.
No, no. Now if it were Metal Gear, would you have something else to say about that?
No.
Lies,
Mm-mm.
or better yet, RE. There it
Resident Evil.
Oh, you
Yeah.
see, Resident Evil is
is.
continuing to come out with new and exciting content.
But they've
I
been guilty of that too,
mean,
though. They've only
um,
recently been revitalized, and that's was thanks to four.
I feel like Resident Evil 5 and 6 are very.
I like them.
Whoa.
I
Five
like them.
is the best. Six was garbage.
5 was the most controversial.
Why?
It was controversial,
Yeah,
really.
because you're in Africa shooting black people.
Yeah, Did you not get that?
I
And you're like,
honestly,
and
like,
you're
I
like,
didn't understand.
your character is a white dude.
But Chef was black.
Yeah,
So
it cancels
Oh.
out. But no, that was like the biggest issue when that game was being released. I thought
but
it
they're
was the
ganados.
yeah, like, but like this, I blame PETA.
Honestly, I didn't see what was a hubbub about.
Well, it's because like
Could have been in Mexico and I wouldn't have cared.
you're in like you're technically, I think you're in Spain in the fourth one,
Oh yeah, you are. Well, no, in a European country, not Spain.
but they're speaking Spanish,
Yeah, that's true.
so it's Spain.
They say the place you're at. Yeah. Either way.
Either way, but the thing is that this is a worldwide disease. Us fans of Resident Evil know this, so
That's
to
true.
us, it didn't really like it wasn't like an issue when you're in Africa fighting the virus.
Honestly,
The rest of the world saw it as, oh, white man is in Africa shooting black people. And then everybody went full Karen and like, that's offensive.
yeah. I honestly don't remember any of that, but then again, I stopped watching the news a long time ago, so I don't really care.
This game came out how many years ago, Ed?
Like
you
10,
must
15 years ago.
you must be living under a rock.
A little bit, yeah. I've chosen to just stay out of the media in the news simply because there's nothing worth knowing there.
Right.
Anyways, but that's pretty much it, folks. Let us know in the comments what's a franchise you love that is no longer as good as it used to be, or you just don't feel as good as it used to be. It's one of those things that you don't want to hate it, but at the same time you miss what it was, what it used to be. And you know it could be good again. Like there's some franchises that have been revitalized. Like Call of Duty. I just kidding.
I've tried to reboot it how many
Like
times?
50 times, I think, at this point. It's
You
it's
just
Days of
keep
Future
using the same.
Past. They keep retconning everything. But yep. Let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Remember, hit that like button and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. We do have a comment section in that too, so you can let us know what you thought of the episode. And as always, tune in not next week, but the week after for our latest episode. All right, y'all say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.